evening, everyone. Welcome to Film Snobbery Live. I am your host, Nic Baisley, and we are back for another fantastic episode. It ain't nothing but a good time here. So thank you for joining us. If you're never seen this show before, first of all, I have to question your judgment and you as a person. No, this is a great show for both independent filmmakers, people in the entertainment industry. It's people that like just fun things. Maybe people that like me. I don't know. That's a smaller group, I know. But we have a fantastic show for you guys. And just so you know, you can watch us every week, this time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, over at FilmSnobberyLive.com. If you're watching this now, you already know that because you're here. But if you're watching somewhere else, maybe on your mobile device, because you can do that as well, be sure to check in with the chat room, because we got a great chat room that's here every week. We have a fantastic show lined up for you today. Tons of content, as always. This is the first time, actually, I think in a long time, we've ever had two guests, because that's how much I like you people out there. I always just try to cram as much as I can into these shows. So, you know, one guest, we've done it before. It's old hat. So I had to throw in two guests. That's right. It's our first threesome. So our guests are Mora, actress and fun person, producer-esque type of peoples. She's awesome. I love Lauren. And also we have Marion Kerr, and who is a writer, director, actress. She's everything as well. I love people out here because everyone's a multi-hyphenate. You have to be. So it's we have a fantastic show. We're going to talk about their new web series, Misdirected, which they're going to talk a little bit more about it, but it drops soon. It's dropping hot all over you and on the internet. It's great. And they've got a great poster. I'm looking at it here because I have a little monitor. It's actually not little. It's pretty big. I look damn good though. So we're going to chat with them in a second. We wanted to tease for you guys though. Oh, and stick around, by the way. We have a giveaway at the end of the interview. We have a giveaway from our good friends over at Focal Press. If you guys don't know Focal Press, they're a fantastic book publisher for film books. They've got tons of film books that are out there, a huge library. I've actually done work with them before, and they were nice enough to say, hey, we realize that you've written articles for our masteringfilm.com site, and you know, we love what you do, so would you like to give away a book of ours? I said, sure. They said, which one? And I said, how about this one, the genre by Danny Draven. It's a book about making genre films, because I know that most independent filmmakers start with like a horror or a real genre-esque type of thing, because it's, you know, budgetary concerns and all those kind of fun things. But we're going to give that away to you guys and girls later on in the show. Maybe it's to whoever asks the best question. Maybe it's just to whoever our guests pick. Maybe it's to whoever I pick. I don't know. We really didn't think this through very well. Most of this stuff is made up as we go along anyway. So, back to our guests though. Misdirected. It's a really cool web series. It's going to be starting soon. I'm looking forward to it because I haven't had a chance to see it yet. But we're going to talk about it. And we've got a little clip. It's an exclusive clip here for you folks, because when people come on Film Snobbery Live, they realize that the quality of this show is so far above everyone else's that they have to raise the bar and they have to give their best. And not only their best, but they have to just give us we got the scoop. So stay tuned. We got a exclusive clip for Misdirected coming at you right now. When we come back very shortly, we will have our little interview with Mora and Marion Kerr. So stick around. Be right back.
What the hell?
And we're back. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Mora and Marion Kerr.
Hello. Thank you for having us, Nic.
How could I refuse the request of two such lovely ladies as yourselves? How are you guys doing?
Oh, fabulous. Really looking forward to Monday.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to Monday. It's been a long time coming.
What's happening on Monday?
Misdirected is going to drop on Monday. We're going to have Misdirected Mondays. And we have decided, as a collective, we're going to drop the first 3 episodes.
3 episodes,
Monday.
not 1 episode, not 2 episodes. We're not
no.
even pulling like a 2-parter deal. You're going all 3.
We're going all 3. We figured people have been waiting a long time for this. Let's just satiate them as much as we can, but still leave them in suspense.
Absolutely. So what made you guys want to go for 3 episodes? Is that what takes them long enough to kind of get into the series, really give a good idea? What was the mentality behind that?
Well, when Marion first gave me the script, I think the first 3 episodes now really composed
Yeah, the first
episode 1. She'd given me a script that had 5 episodes in it, but when I saw it, I thought, well, this is for the web, and people's attention spans are short, let's cut this up a little bit. So what she gave me was 5, what it ended up being was 9 when we cut it up all together. And episodes 1, 2, and 3 just had a nice, clean arc to it that I thought, if we just released episode 1, it's so short, it's 2 minutes. I don't know if that's going to make people come around next week for
more.
But I thought, those first solid 3 episodes are really good, you guys. So I wanted to get that out to the people.
And I think it makes the situation of the show, like, you understand the circumstances very clearly, which I think if you just saw episode 1, it's a little bit more like, I don't know totally what's happening here. And I feel like after the first 3 episodes, it's very clear what is sort of the premise of the show.
So why don't you tell us what the premise of the show is, Miss Marion? Miss Know-It-all Marion over
All
here.
right, Mr. Baisley.
That clip didn't explain what the show's about.
I thought it was super clear, but I guess...
Does it leave you with more questions?
All right, guys, try and follow me on this one. The premise is basically about a young woman who loses her memory and because of an accident and is sort of reintroduced to her life and her friends and her apartment and her job, having no memory of who any of these people are, and just she doesn't remember any of this. And for a long time, it's sort of, and the awkwardness with sort of trying to unravel all that. And for a long time, I've always thought group dynamics among friends are very interesting. And I had thought for a while, the people that you're friends with, you kind of have this history with them, and that's kind of a big part of your friendship. But what if you were able to meet your group, your job, your kind of life cold? Like, you didn't know what any of it was or who any of these people are, but they're like, no, this is your best friend. This is your boyfriend. This is where you go to work every day. And what that would really be like for you, like really not knowing, not having any memory of it. Like, would you still like your friends if you didn't know them? Do you know what I mean? If you met them cold for the first time. And so that was kind of the impetus of creating the show.
Where do you, in your personal group dynamic, where do you see yourself in the group?
They hate me so much.
That's not true.
No, I don't. I mean, it's not. I guess it sort of sounds like, oh, so you hate your friends, is what you're saying. And it's really not true. It's just, but I do think. I just think group dynamics are interesting, and I've been fortunate enough to have been part of a lot of different groups, sort of in college and LA and whatever, and they're all just really different and really specific, and I just think that sometimes if one thing changes in a group dynamic, groups can kind of fall apart or reform, or I don't know, and just for some reason that's interested me, these sort of like makeshift families that you have, in like your 20s and 30s.
But the thing about this show, our show, is that when she is learning about who she is, she's not exactly being told the entire truth.
Right.
And that was the part, of the premise that got me a little bit of just like, I know that my friends, because they suck, would totally fuck with me on this show. And, if something like that were to happen.
Sure.
And, they'd be like, this is your best friend. And it could just be someone I've hated my entire life.
Well, and also it's just like, what if your best friends were assholes, right? Like,
Right.
what if they're just not very good people? So they're like, okay, cool. Oh, I'm so sorry. You can't remember anything? Okay. What you like to do
You
is...
totally
know
owed
what
me
I mean?
$5.
Right,
Yeah.
totally, exactly, right?
They have their own agendas.
Right, they have their own agendas, and so I thought that's fun. I wouldn't want that to happen to me, but I would like to watch that happen to somebody else.
Now, Lauren, you're the lead character on this one,
That's
huh?
true.
You play the one who loses the memory and has to go through this stuff
Right.
and things.
So it was a challenge. It starts out being just what it would be like to see everything for the first time and be told these different things. And then at some point, you start to question because it doesn't seem to add up. But why would these people lie to you? Why would they do that?
Who would do that?
It's so inconceivable.
I do not think you know what that word means. No, but do you, how do you act surprised to learn new things, even as an actress? Like, all right, so you're reading something on paper, okay? These are things that are supposed to be new to you.
Yeah.
How do you act as if they are new to you?
Well, you act as if you're a person who these things are new to. I mean,
Well, we talked about it in the sense that, like, usually when you're, kind of doing your homework, especially if you're like the lead in something and you're going to be shooting something over several days, you kind of create this backstory and, these things that your character thought about kind of leading up to this moment. And she couldn't really do any of that because she had no, all she had was literally what was happening right in front of her. Like, everybody else had, like, oh, this is where you guys met, this is what you would think of this person, this is what you think of this person. And she's like, what does my character do for a living? Like, she doesn't, she doesn't know as the character or as the actor. So it's like,
it was actually easier, not having to worry about that kind of thing. About how I felt about this or that, I really don't know. I'm approaching it fresh.
yeah.
And did you write, you wrote the script? Was the script written specifically for Lauren?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, by the time it came down to, like, pen to paper, it was for her. Yeah. I mean, I think it was an idea I'd had for a long time, but just I didn't have, I don't know. I never necessarily conceived of it as a web series. Like, I didn't know maybe it would be a short, maybe it would be a feature, maybe I didn't know what I thought it would be. It was just sort of the kind of this idea that I had for a long time, and then talking with Lauren about some things that were going on in her life, I just kind of thought, she was just kind of the perfect person to be this. Like, I didn't even know if the character would be male or female. Like, it was just a really general idea. But then the more I thought about it, the more I thought how great she would be in this role, in part because once I tapped into the idea of it being funny, like your friend screwing around with you, I felt like you had to have somebody who could play both, who could play the situation legitimately, like losing your memory, like that's not a joke, that's scary, and that's not fun. But then also going along with the ride, like when she, maybe latches onto somebody as her new best friend who before she hated, and being fun and silly and, kind of having an actor that can kind of play both sides of that would be kind of the whole thing,
Fair enough. And so, Lauren, how do you play comedy versus drama in terms of, like, do you feel you have that inherent comedy timing? Do you did you hone those skills anywhere? Like, what's your background with that?
Yes, Nick, totally.
Totally, a little bit.
I'm a hilarious person. Yeah.
I'm laughing in here right now, just so you know. It's just in this area.
You take improv classes from certain studios here in Los Angeles, and they tell you, to play the situation, and that's where the comedy comes out of, which I feel more comfortable with, because I was never good with the kind of comedy, but it's more like, I think I'm more entertaining when people don't expect me to be. So this is kind of, like single camera comedy is my jam, I get behind that because it's not set up joke. It's more like, where is this leading? Oh, I did not expect that coming, and now I can laugh about it.
And was everything in this scripted, or was it partial scripting, partial improv?
It was, majority of it was scripted. I mean, you got to give the actors some room to move and create if they want to come up with new things to say, which a few of them did here and there.
Yeah,
but
and there are definitely lines in it that are not mine, that are, things that they're just, it's funny.
Happen on the day?
Yeah, happen on the day, or, it's like, well, what if this, and how about this? And I'm like, all right, well, show me, and if I think if you make me laugh, then I'm all for that,
Speaking of the cast, we have a great cast.
I've heard you have people in
We
this.
have people. Some of them we knew beforehand, some of them we discovered, and they're awesome.
And we're going to take total credit for their careers.
Yeah, absolutely. From here on in, you're getting the 10%. I think that really you should almost be like, it should be management fees at this point. Like,
you guys owe me.
Yeah.
Big time.
Big time. Marion, what made you want to not only write it but also direct it? Because, I mean, obviously you're an actress as well, and directing anything is a huge time commitment. And
isn't it, though?
It is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, so, pourquoi?
I know, right? I know. Trying to remember accurately the timeline of things. I think when I wrote it, and do you want to take this? Okay. Because I guess I'll attempt it. I'll attempt it, and then Lauren will correct me.
Okay.
I wrote it, gave it to her, and then we talked about it. We kind of broke it down a bit further. I wasn't 100% about directing it, because once I gave it to her, I really wanted her to do what she wanted to do with it.
Right.
As far as the producing it, because she was producing it, not me. And then at some point we started talking about me directing it, and I think in the beginning I was a little like, ugh, because as much as I
That's not true.
okay, perhaps I didn't express this to you, but I was a little unsure about it, because I felt like as much as I really enjoyed the whole process with Golden Earrings, it was incredibly time consuming and very difficult, and it was just a lot, and that was one part why I didn't necessarily really want to produce it either, So I think I was a little nervous about it, but then the other aspect of it was that I was really curious. I hadn't directed anything in a while, and certainly since Golden Earrings, and I think I kind of wanted to see. I felt like I'd matured as a person and perhaps a bit as an artist, and I guess I kind of wanted to see what that would be like again.
You thought that, and in actuality...
And what I told her...
Well, here's the thing. I didn't think you wanted anybody else to do it, really. You had your vision, and it's like, who else? Who else is going to pick up the mantle, And so when we were talking about it, and, I didn't want to... She gave me this wonderful gift. It was actually a birthday present.
Yeah?
Yeah, tied up. That was my birthday present. It was really sweet. She waited till everybody left and then gave it to me, and we had a moment. We hugged, and it was beautiful. It was tender. But
I have other adjectives for that.
Just keep going, Lauren. Just keep going.
Keep going.
But I knew she is an actress. Building a career of her own. There's only so much time commitment she'd want to put into this project for me. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I would be carrying that big load, but when we talked, it was like, well, do you want to? And she said yes, eagerly, because she didn't want anybody else to do it.
Well, no, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't have been opposed if you'd wanted somebody else to do it. I would have been like, ugh, not, you know what I mean? Not at all.
That's not how they're supposed to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. No, but I mean, again, because I wrote it, like it's in, I have opinions about like this because you're seeing it as you're writing it. You're not. I'm like seeing the show play out in my head as I'm writing it. So of course, if she asked me to direct it, I'm not like, geez, I wouldn't even know where to start. You know what I mean? Like it's, no, you know what these things are supposed to look like.
Speaking of the scene playing out as you're writing it, okay, so Lauren and I had a great conversation on the phone the other day about what my vision of your writing process is.
Oh my.
Which, and it started with,
Lordy.
It started first with, like what, Lauren said, what do you expect that she types on like a typewriter or something? Like
he figures you're, very old school. He didn't imagine you in front of a computer screen.
I know.
Tapping it out.
I even went as far as like, no, I think she goes pen to paper. Like she's got the moleskin notebook and she's, doing pen. But I also feel because you're an actress that you are acting out the parts, much in the way that like also like an animator would make faces in a mirror or something as they're drawing something. So I was like, the way I picture you is like you're literally sitting there having conversations with yourself to try to get the realistic dialogue and to get the other stuff kind of, out there. How close am I to being accurate?
Now it just all sounds really embarrassing. But, there's some talking to myself, perhaps. I mean, to be fair, the typewriter is wrong. But the moleskin, notebook and pen is not too far off. I feel like that's more for ideas or scenes that I have. Sometimes, like, I'll have... Like, there's a sequence that's, like, in episode 8 that I knew I wanted. I just didn't know where the story would go. But I thought of it, and I was like, okay, so I kind of write stuff like that down, like different scenes. And then as the story's going on, you slot them in where appropriate, if appropriate. So I feel like ideas kind of go, and those always happen in my car a lot, where I'm sitting on the 405 and I'm like, oh, I think this would.
Well, because what else is there to do on the 405
nothing.
Is sit there.
Literally nothing, and it drives me insane.
I also had the idea of possibly like you're sitting at this point in front of a computer and you get to like act 1, scene 1, and then you just fall asleep dead at your computer with a blank page, and then Vivian comes in and actually finishes the rest for you.
Oh, okay. And that's how that works. Then I wake up and I'm like, I'm a genius. Look at
exactly.
This. It's amazing.
Genius in Poe-like, and it's just Oscar Wilde like witticisms, and this is wonderful.
This is genius. I am so good. No, I mean at some point, I do transfer the pen and paper to an actual computer.
A computer?
Yes, with a keyboard.
No.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, occasionally I print stuff. I know. I'm so sorry, Nick.
I know. I have all these illusions in there now. They're busted.
You're sorry.
I know.
But the talking does happen a lot because rhythms of things are very important to me, and so I feel like a lot sometimes I'll be kind of reading it and I'm just like, ugh, something's wrong, and I feel like if I say it out loud a bunch, then I'm like, oh, this sentence is longer than it should be, or this line is longer, or this person shouldn't talk now, or I don't know. So I feel like I do that, but it's not that crazy in my head when in my bedroom when I'm doing it. But
by myself with the lights off.
By myself with the lights off. And my roommate's like, God, what is she doing? Sorry.
She's writing a love scene right now, and it's it's a pretty intimate type of situation.
It's real awkward.
Now, how about you, Lauren? Like when you're running lines and stuff like that, and you're alone at the time.
Yeah.
How are you running lines to the pets in the house or to? I totally
Look at
run.
me funny, yeah.
Yeah, I will totally run ideas by the cat. Yeah, totally.
She's very disinterested though. Looks at me like I'm the crazy one. But I practice. Yeah, sometimes I'll do mirror just to see what's going on. When I'm making certain faces.
I feel like that never works for me because I feel like whenever I try and do that, I can tell I'm looking at myself and like judging myself.
Yeah.
So I know I would never be doing it this way anyway. So I always feel like that exercise is pointless for
Right.
me.
So then there'll be times I'll tape myself. I'll use my webcam.
See,
and
that
then
I can
watch.
feel,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then I can break myself with bad habits, like talking outside of your mouth or
Okay.
making certain things.
I also feel like I have like weird dead eyes because I'm not looking at anything. You know what I mean? And I feel like if I'm talking to somebody, like I can't ever fake actually talking to a person, like looking at your eyes and having this conversation. No matter how many times I do this in front of a mirror, like it's just, or to like a spot on my wall or whatever. It's never. I don't know.
That's why I just do no prep. No, none whatsoever.
That's why
I just show up on the day. I'm like, we'll do it live. You guys want to take a couple questions from the audience?
Oh, do we have questions?
Of course we do.
Okay.
And the first one I'm actually looking forward to because it's a good question. It is from Marion, but it's from Gary King.
Gary King.
Gary King.
Gary, thanks for watching, Gary.
Totally off topic of Misdirected, of course.
Not helpful, Gary. Not helpful.
Not helpful. Because, Misdirected drops on Monday.
Monday. 20th.
Which Doctor incarnation would Marion Kerr prefer to go bowling or ziplining with?
That's easy.
You look like a Tenant girl to me.
Oh, really? No, I'm going to go old school.
You're going old school, huh?
Yeah, totally. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it only?
No.
The
The entire
okay.
spectrum of Doctor.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly Tom Baker.
Tom Baker, okay.
Clearly. I mean, give me a break, yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with Tenet. I like me some Tenet.
Well,
but, like, Tom Baker is
You
my
can
guy.
easily go ziplining with that long scarf.
Right?
Totally, right?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we got our own stuff. Don't even worry about it. Like, pass over the scarf. Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'd be David Tennant.
You be David.
You do
Yeah.
a David Tennant?
Yeah.
Well, Alan Z?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Sailing on.
I'm a nerd. Let's see. John Hoff's got questions.
Okay.
John Hoff.
He's got two questions. I'm going to go with the second one first. John Hoff 3 asks, "What was it like working with Mr. Crew and/or Mr. Forsman?"
Those are two very different questions.
They are.
What was it like? Yeah. I don't know. Am I answering this? I guess I'm answering this. They're both great. I don't know. They're just really different guys. So I don't know. It's very strange. I feel like it's like, I don't know.
What are their directing styles? Like, you guys have both worked with both of them actually. There was Far, and then you've worked with Zach too, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, we did a little cooking show. He and I. Some with bullets. What I can see is that Brian is very particular. He has everything mapped out in his head and knows what he wants and everything. And then Zach is more loose, and he's like, well, I've got this thing. We can kind of do it this way, and let's just play around. It's like, okay, that's a little bit more scary, but all right, yeah. And then I feel like, am I doing what you want? But it doesn't really matter because he's free. He doesn't have certain restrictions, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah, I feel like Zach's sort of more like the quiet observer of you and what you're doing, and I think that there's an element to some actors that are kind of like, why aren't you talking to me? Talk to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really like it because I feel like it's the kind of thing where I'm like, well, if he doesn't, he'll say something, and if he does, then you're on the track. Whereas sometimes I feel like directors will say stuff because they feel they ought to,
Right.
and you're really not helping me. You're saying stuff because the crew's watching you, and you should do a director thing now and say something to me. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I feel like I'm getting that note, and sometimes I'm like, you're just talking to me because you feel like you have to talk to me right now, and this isn't really helping the scene, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're just, I don't know, whatever. So I like that because I feel like there's a tremendous sense of freedom with that. But at the same time, what I like working about with Brian is that he and I have very similar senses of humor. So I feel like when we're on set, it's very relaxed, And for me, it's a very, even though he does, he's has everything planned out, but it's a very relaxed atmosphere.
plan?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're just really different. So it's sort of hard to kind of.
But I like not to ding Zach. I love working with Zach too. It's just more challenging. I get more scared, which is good to be scared.
Yeah.
thought you worked. I'm like, I just want to please, and I'm hoping I'm doing what he likes.
Everyone wants to be the eager puppy with Papa Bear.
Yeah. You're not Zach, you're Papa Bear.
Oh, I've called Zach Papa Bear to his face. I was like, oh, Papa Bear's here. He's going to be our guest next week.
Yeah.
He was. I thought he was going to be our guest this week, and I even announced that on the show last week. And I'm the idiot who actually, I had it written down in 3 different places, and yet my mind still was like, no, he's on the show next week. And I'm like, and then I looked, like Tuesday, open hole in the schedule. I'm like, oh, I'm the idiot. Okay. No wonder why no one's requesting information from me or anything like that. I'm like, I suck. All right.
Papa Bear's like, I'm not going to be there Thursday. Just
No.
letting you know, not showing up.
He's like, hey, boo-boo. No. All right, so there's another one from John Hoff, 3, uno, dos, tres. How would Faye and Sarah handle losing their memory?
Oh my God!
Way to recall it.
Throwback question.
Faye and Sarah, for everybody else, are our characters from Golden Earrings.
I know. Handle losing their memory. I feel like Sarah would be pretty cool with it. I feel like, she'd kind of
Faye
roll
would be
with it.
sassy. She's a sassy girl.
Yeah. I feel like Faye would be very. I think Faye wouldn't take it well.
Yeah, and she'd be telling everybody else, like, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was an independent woman.
Totally.
Strong, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like Sarah would be much more freaked out. Like, what is happening? Faye's like, okay, look, this is what we're doing.
Lose their memory and then find out they're in a horror movie.
I know.
There you go.
Nice.
Yes. If you guys haven't actually had an opportunity to check out Golden Earrings yet, first of all, if you need an introduction, you can always read the review that's on FilmSnobbery.com, or you can just go ahead because it's out there for you to watch. Yes, it's on DVD.
I'm like, no, it's not. No,
No.
it is. It totally is. Yes. Yeah, it's out. Our website is goldenearringsmovie.com, so if
It is.
anyone's curious, they can certainly go look.
And that said, too, we might as well give it a plug while we're here and talking about Misdirected. We've got to get back to that, obviously.
Yeah,
so,
we have something else to show.
we have things. Okay, so go ahead. You can go ahead and talk it. Go ahead. You want me to talk it up? And then you tell.
We can talk it up.
You talk it up. I mean, I got. What do I know?
Well, earlier this week, we released our trailer as well as our official Misdirected poster, which we got a lot of great positive feedback on. But that was not all we had up our sleeve.
We decided a while ago to do a secondary poster that would be a little bit more of an homage, a spoof to TV
One of our
show.
favorite shows.
It's one of our favorite shows. And so I think hopefully if all has gone right, we've just posted it on our Facebook
It'll
page.
be on the Facebook page, and we're going to show it to you right meow.
Wow. Is that happening?
I guess it's up. It's happening.
That's
Things are happening. I got thumbs up.
So
Go Bill.
I'm sure you may recognize the style of this poster. The tone.
The tone.
It's uber serious, dramatic.
Very, very serious.
Utterly ridiculous.
I'm a big fan of shows. I've seen other shows do this before, where it's like a comedy, and they'll do a poster that's in the exact opposite style of the show in which they're in.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be like a sitcom, but they'll do like a CSI style poster where it's dark and gritty and all
Tonal
that.
shift.
Yeah, so it's a total tonal shift. So I really wanted to do that super bad for this show, and I thought since Misdirected and Lost were really similar words, sounding well in definition, yeah. I decided to make them shoot a Lost poster but have it say Misdirected in the bottom.
The funny part is that
what we did.
I looked at that poster and before the show, and I immediately also thought that just the way you guys were standing would make a really good. You know how you see those lower thirds on sitcoms where like the cast is all grouped together and the bottom is like, hey, how you doing? Watch our show, or you do the turn, like the rotate type of thing. I'm like, I could see that.
Yeah.
I thought it would make a really good bus ad.
Oh, totally.
We were saying there brainstorming. We were like, oh, we need a good bus ad for this thing. But I was more excited, I have to say, to shoot this poster than I was like our proper poster because it was one of those things where I'm like, this is probably only funny to me, but I'm going to make them do it anyway because.
No, that's okay. I could definitely see it's in a bus shelter somewhere, and I'm sitting there. I'm watching it, late and frustrated as usual. But that's my oasis right there. That's the island.
Especially if you know that it's a comedy. Like that's the thing, and that was sort of the idea behind our trailer too. Is like I wanted to have this trailer that was kind of like really serious and really like very dramatic and very, I don't know, because I feel like you see a lot of web series trailers, especially for comedies, and they're all like, whatever this means, and
jazz hands apparently.
I don't know, but
Shrug his shoulder.
But like
Shrug
everybody
his
knows what I'm
shoulder.
talking about, right?
Yes.
Like comedy web series trailer, like they all look the same. There's like music and characters and bleh, and I don't know. I just felt like I didn't really want to do that, so.
And we actually do have. We do have the trailer for Misdirected that we're going to show at the end of the interview because we wanted to tease it out as long as possible for you because that's what I do. But I actually have something else. I have an Oprah-like surprise for you guys. Like, You guys,
Us cars, Nick.
Yeah. Wait, is there a car?
there's no cars. There's as a matter of fact, you will need a car to be at this thing. So, my old co-host Jerry Cavallero, you guys might know him in the chat room as Stuck Like Jerry, the director of movies such as Stuck Like Chuck, which is now available for free over on YouTube.
Hey.
Hey Jerry, you're welcome. And also you can watch myself and Jerry at the Orlando Film Festival, and Nick and Jerry Get Off. Yeah. Also available on Vimeo and YouTube or places. But he says, by the way, Nick, here is a very special surprise from Marion and yourself as well, Lauren. Farr has been officially accepted into the Orlando Film Festival and let her know for us.
Oh wow! Yay!
Hooray!
Hooray! That's
So,
awesome.
book the
Thank
plane tickets.
You, Jerry. All
Thank you,
right.
Jerry.
Yay.
Yeah, so that was very good. All right. So thank you, Jerry, for letting me
Thank you, Jerry.
announce that for you guys. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fantastic. No, you guys will have a good time there. It's a really good festival. I've been there several years in a row. I missed out on, was it last year? Something like that. I don't know. But Jerry and I filmed a documentary there, and
Oh, is that the kind of road trip?
that was the road trip doc we did. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Get off OFF Orlando
Yeah,
Film Festival.
I gotcha.
And see what we did there.
Yeah, I totally did.
There we go. I take no credit for any of that. That was all Jerry. You know, although I do miss the sequel to that, which is not. There's no footage in the actual doc about it, but the sequel to that would have been Nick and Jerry Get Hairy, because on our way home, Jerry won a contest at the New York Comic Con, which was to go and search for Bigfoot.
How do you win that contest without actually
He
finding?
snapped a picture of a guy in a Bigfoot costume walking around the con, and it was, I don't know, like one of those Animal Planet type of channels or something like that that was hosting the contest. And he's like, we got the call literally while we were driving. I think we were in Virginia or West Virginia on the highway driving back from the Orlando Film Festival. We pulled over to the side of the road. And he's like, I just won the grand prize. We're gonna go look for Bigfoot. And I was just like, we were just like, and that spawned into a whole conversation of sequel, you know, because Jerry was already knowing he was going to take some of this footage and turn it into a doc, and he was like, this is the end of the doc. And then it just never ended up happening. He ended up taking a cash prize instead. So,
Really?
and he used it to buy himself a new.
Sell out.
He did.
We are judging you.
Wow,
Judging you.
that is.
I've never met you. I'm very sorry. Some things I just say. Sometimes I just say things.
You know what? No, you're totally right. You had him pegged dead on.
He's like, new Twitter update. You are not.
You are not.
in
You're
the
officially
Orlando Film
rejected.
Officially, yeah, you are
My
out.
part just cut out of the movie.
Basically, that's the caveat. You guys can be it, but Lauren cannot be in it.
They're just going to reframe that whole thing so it's just your head's right off, you know. Lauren is in Farr as well. She's the waitress in the restaurant scene.
Yes, I am.
And how, I mean, aside from when awesome friends go and write roles specifically for you,
Yeah,
how do you go about getting
Nick.
the dream here in LA, getting casted, getting management or representation, or getting anything that isn't herpes in this town?
Well, there's always protection.
Maybe just go for.
There's only a couple
first
words in
part
that
of my
sentence.
Maybe the part.
I mean,
There's only a little bit in that I
we all
wasn't
try
familiar
to
with.
live the dream. We're all out there trying to get what we can to make ourselves happy, and some have more than others, and some have less. But I try to just, coast by and be happy with
With what you got?
what I have. I mean, not that I'm not striving for more. I'm definitely striving for more, but I'm trying to look around at what I have and realize, like, I don't want to be spending my whole life being upset if I don't have what other people do or something like that. So
Right. Well, you can always go on the whole thing of, like, you are, like, the game show champion.
that's true.
This is true.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about Lauren. She's been on a game show or two.
Or 10.
Or 10.
And you've won. And you've won how many?
But they might be watching.
I think it's
I wanna-
You guys completely overestimate this audience.
We're gonna share with this with everybody.
Fair enough.
a couple.
She's been on a couple
And sometimes
really
you win.
nice ones. And sometimes.
I call myself a game winner.
A game winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, poker.
I can't really complain.
No, definitely not.
No right to.
But that's cool. No, I have a friend of mine who just, like, literally auditioned for a game show, and it's a process. How
It's all about your personality. I mean, don't be annoying, but be positive and excited that you're there.
Yeah.
And some people overplay that, and then some people just don't know how to play it at all.
But I mean,
Play the game.
like
Not just the game, but the game.
but like ironically or maybe not, I mean, I feel like, you know, acting auditions aren't too terribly different either way, because I feel like a lot of the times, you know, you go in and you can, especially in rooms, like you can just smell the terror that's in like the waiting room for everyone to go in. And I feel like, you know, auditions, you know, kind of the same thing, like the actor comes in and regardless of whether or not how talented they are or not, like you can just feel just how, because it's, you know, just how scared they are. And it's, you know, it's hard. Sometimes there's a lot at stake writing. So I feel like figuring out a way to go into the room and not only show what you're actually capable of, but be positive and be relaxed and be like happy to be here and kind of like, you know, this would be great if I got this. But you know what I mean? Like I'm just going to try and figure out a way to enjoy myself, you know, in a situation that is not very enjoyable in a lot of ways, you know.
I do enjoy competition. I'll say that.
I'm just going to double check the questions here for 1 second, but talk amongst yourselves. I will give you a topic. The Partridge family would neither partridges nor family discuss. No. So, in regards to acting and directing and all this, how long does it take to make a 9-episode web series?
Why are you crying? I don't understand.
Okay, because let's be honest, folks, for people who are not familiar with our production, we actually shot over Memorial Day weekend of last year, and I'm upset because I would have liked to have gotten it out to the public a lot sooner than we did, but we are sliding it in under a year because Memorial Day weekend.
But it looks good. I mean,
and that's
Some
what
people don't mind waiting that long. I mean, that's the thing. There's no point in waiting whatever time you wait, and then you see it and you're like, oh my god, garbage. You
right,
know?
but I just felt the pressure. You know, we started through Kickstarter, so I had backers who I was accountable to,
Right.
who, you know, were very sweet, but, you know, would put on the pressure with the, so when am I going to see it, or what's going on with it, and you just feel like you know, you have to have something to show for everything that they've put into it. So I wanted to give them their goods, but it just so happens that, well, we played out on our own timeline, and we got some good quality people to help us in post. You know, we happen to have talented friends, and, you know, we work.
I am not one of them.
And that's not true. You're a talent. But yeah,
it took 6 days, I think.
to film.
Yes, 5, 6
5.
days? 5 days.
5 days.
5 days, yes,
Cool.
of actual production.
All right.
And then we did 1 day of kind of reshoots and inserts a few months later. And then, yeah, we're just basically kind of plugging away at post ever since.
How do you keep momentum up for a project like this when it does have like an extended post? You know, I mean, is it just like, it's coming? It's coming.
Well, I mean,
or
I guess it depends on who you're talking to. Like, you know,
Right.
like enthusiasm amongst the people who are actually working on it, or enthusiasm to the audience. Because I feel like those are two very different things.
This is true. Let's say enthusiasm to the audience.
It's just about keeping them informed. You know, everyone wants to know what's going on, so don't lie about it. But if you don't have anything to say, then don't say anything, because I don't want to sit there and flood their inbox with,
Right.
we're still waiting on this, or we haven't done this yet. So making those moments where something, you know, is accomplished grander by saying.
And I think also like keeping them, you know, apprised of our process kind of as it's happening with us. Like, so if we're working on sound, you know, take a picture of, you know, who's doing our post sound for us, and, you know, Michael Flo. And, you know, when we're in the bay, like if, you know, we just sort of hit a breakthrough for that day, like kind of, you know, we can talk about it in sort of vague terms, but have a picture about it, you know, so people can kind of see visually that, you know, the machine is going, and, you know, like we're all hard at work, even if we're not like, but not over flooding them with like, well, today, and then last night, and then, you know what I mean?
But we're not just sitting on our thumbs either.
Right, but I feel like you have to kind of find the sweet spot, because I feel like sometimes I hear people's post things by the time the show actually comes out, or the movie or whatever, like they've so inundated me with like how they've put their clock together that like I don't even want to see the clock anymore. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to see you put it all. You know what I mean? Just like show me the show, show me the good thing. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Now you guys also, I mean, you did Kickstarter, and that's fantastic. Now this was over a year ago, or a year ago.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Now, crowdfunding now is obviously getting a lot of attention because of things like Veronica Mars, Zach Braff, even the Melissa Joan Hart thing, which didn't go so well.
Right.
How do you guys see crowdfunding having changed since when you did it till now?
More people are aware of it.
Yeah?
So that's nice. I find when I'm saying, oh, we did a Kickstarter campaign, people are nodding their heads and going, oh, yeah, we've heard about that.
Like, that's a thing now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I know, trying to get people that we know involved to support the campaign, part of it was explaining to them what it is.
But I think the other part, I think now the only difference is that probably the difference that we were kind of concerned with the most was about making an entertaining video, because I feel like we've both watched so many videos where you just kind of like turn it off after 20 seconds, and so I feel like now, even though I felt like we did a pretty good job with making our Kickstarter video entertaining and
people have
retweetable
stepped up the bar so incredibly high.
Yeah, but now it's like I feel the competition for that's even fiercer. Like now I feel like, a talking head video is real trouble now, whereas before, like, you might be able to slide by with it, and now it's like you really have to have like bells and whistles.
Yeah,
and,
now the Kickstarter video looks more like a movie. It looks like the actual I just gave money to one the other day where it just looked like the end product already, but that was just their video to announce, hey, we need money for our other project.
And and I hate to say it. I mean, say what you want about like specifically the Zach Braff one, but his video was entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, it was well put together. It's like, okay, someone actually got a camera and got a little slider dolly thing.
Well, and now I feel like I felt like up until when Lauren and I did ours, and again, like, I don't have like the most massive Kickstarter knowledge ever, but I felt like up until when we did ours, I hadn't seen a lot of videos that were funny.
Right.
And now I feel like I see Kickstarter videos that are funny left, right, and center. Like they're all over the place. Zach Braff's being a good example of it.
Yeah, and that said too, you say not a master of Kickstarter or something like that. Believe me, no one is. There are a million people out there who are going to tell you that they're...
many. I feel like I'll say like, oh, I haven't seen a video that's XYZ, and then someone's like, oh yeah, the such and such video, and I'll be like, oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So I guess I haven't seen as many as I guess a lot of people have.
I'm just saying that there's so many people out there that consider themselves crowdfunding experts or something like that. And it's just like, you have to understand, like, there's no expert in this field because their field is so young. Yeah. It's still evolving, and it's...
And what might work for one person will not work for the next.
And that's the other thing too. Crowdfunding is such a subjective thing, because it's dependent on so many things. Like, Zach Braff was going to make his goal regardless because he's Zach Braff. That's not taking away from anything. I don't know. I could get into a whole thing about it. Like we did actually, like 2 shows ago, we got into a whole thing about it. Right. But I like talking with other people about it because you guys did it. I did it. And our experiences are our experiences are probably very similar in comparison to something like a Veronica Mars. Yeah. Like, we could never ask for $1 million for something and hope to get it unless it was like $1 million to help cure cancer. Right. Like, maybe that, but that's not a movie. Right. Unless we're going to make the movie of us curing cancer. Like, I'll tell you what, I've got the cure. You just need to pay me to get it. Which I really feel is like what the pharmacy industry does anyway. But
different topic.
Different topic.
Well, and also, I mean, it started off kind of as a novelty where, this person, they seem like a good person. Oh, and they need money for this. All right. But now, as you're saying, the videos need to be better. And what you're making needs to be more interesting. Don't just tell me you're making a movie. It has to be something that no one's ever done before, because we've seen now so many campaigns. Tell me that you're providing something for the market that's not already there.
Do you feel that, like, for something that started out so DIY, like donate to help this charity or donate to help fund my movie or something like that, has now literally become the industry? It is an industry, in as much as these are companies, the top 2, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, that are getting millions of dollars to, in fees and even VC capital and stuff like that to stay afloat. But then also you have, more professionally produced things. You have the entertainment industry specifically, starting to encroach into there as well. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that there's, it's not the same ballpark that you guys are playing in? Like, it's like going from AAA baseball to like...
Sure, certainly. But there's, at the same time, I was thinking about this last night for some weird reason, but I thought...
I'm glad I could segue into your mind.
But I was thinking... we weren't the ones who made the rules. The people, the CEO of Kickstarter, whatever your name is, you're a genius for coming up with this platform, but they make the rules, and they can deny anybody from coming up with a project. You have to submit for approval, and if they don't like what you're raising money for, they can kibosh it. And as long as they're still accepting these things, I mean, they're making
dough.
4% off of every, successfully funded campaign. So it's up to them. It's their beast, and they control it.
Yeah, and I feel like with these big, these sort of higher, people are raising, millions and millions of dollars, I felt like that was coming anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think that the idea that this was always going to stay a thing just for sort of indie niche filmmakers or people who want to sail around the world or write a book or whatever. I mean, I just felt like it was inevitable that it was going to go that way. So I don't feel a particular anger because it has, or I feel like Kickstarter's being stolen from us or anything. I felt like that day was coming anyway. So I guess I sort of see why people are upset when they
Right.
kind of see these higher end things. But I felt like wasn't that inevitable? Didn't we all know that was going to happen?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of that is just living in some sort of world of denial of, and also that whole kind of almost more entitlement feel, which I find for people who are more from here
Sure.
and bigger cities, larger areas that have that whole like, well, why not me, kind of thing. And also,
Yeah.
the people who have been doing it for years and years and not seeing results,
Yeah.
that they're frustrated.
But the great thing I think about Kickstarter is that, I mean, ultimately, depending on how you market it and sell it and construct your video, ultimately the audience speaks. So I mean, if hundreds of people want to see your thing will be made. If they don't, then it won't. And that's kind of the end of it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I feel like, obviously, yeah, Zach Braff has a leg up on us, but you know what I mean. But there's something to be like mad
You
about.
could have a leg up on Zach Braff.
But that doesn't mean that we can't get our thing made,
Right.
but we just have to work harder at it because But he worked hard to get where he is. Like it wasn't just Scrubs wasn't handed to him. You know what I mean? Like Garden State wasn't handed to him. Like he worked very hard. He attained a certain level because of his hard work, and now he's making that work for him. As
And
he
millions
should.
of people know who he is.
Right.
Where maybe a couple hundred of people know who we are.
Literally tens of people. No.
Dozens.
Dozens.
But you know what I mean? But it's like,
Yep.
so when we're coming up with our thing, it's like grumble, grumble, that famous person. It's like, no, we just have to, we have to make it work for us and for our audience. And, it's not the same thing.
And if you don't like him, then don't give to him.
Yeah, it's
You
so
can control you.
it's so
The
optional.
audience speaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing. Like, don't do it. Or you can take, I know I've heard the people say they're taking their pledges away now because he has that.
But the financing
Yeah,
deal.
because of the financing deal. Because you can do that too.
Right.
I've actually done that to Kickstarter campaigns before too. Where where it's really true. Like I've donated for certain reasons, and then without going into detail, sort of something that they do during the course of the campaign. I'm like, oh
No.
no, I don't want to be part of this, and I withdraw my pledge, or I'll downgrade it down to $1 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing. You also have control of that.
Yeah, and I guess there was a whole article, like even Hollywood Reporter had to write not a retraction but an update kind of thing on that. That was kind of fun, actually. Also
update on
people.
what?
Oh, the financing wasn't financing; it was gap financing, which is a whole completely different thing. Which most people in the industry don't know what that is,
Okay.
and don't understand how that type of financing works. All they heard was someone gave him money, and it
Okay,
wasn't
gotcha.
us.
Oh,
And
okay.
so the internet had a kerfuffle.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, the internet had a kerfuffle, and then Zach immediately and his people immediately had to kind of do damage control. But also part of that the fire that had to be fought was just poor journalism.
Sure.
Which sorry Hollywood Reporter, but get the facts straight. It's such a weird thing. When you guys look at people like Kristen Bell or Zach Braff or them doing what they're doing, how do you as actresses and actors say like, I want to get to that part. I want to get to that point in my career where I can ask for $1 million to fund a passion project or more and do something. Do you ever have like a roadmap that you guys kind of plan out, where you go like,
You can, but it'll be pointless.
how do you give yourself an edge as actresses or actors in this industry, and specifically in Los Angeles where there's so many? I mean, there's so many actresses I know that are going to other towns now. They're going to Atlanta, they're going to New York, they're going to Florida, they're going all these different places because there's other work there, and the competition isn't as fierce. So how do you guys continue to?
Well, we're doing it.
You're
by
doing it.
making our own content. We are content creators, and that's what they tell us to do. If you're not getting work, make your own work. So that leads back to Misdirected, something that we made ourselves to push out, and you're all going to watch it and love it.
You're
and then
all
we'll
gonna
get
watch
to that
it.
step. Yeah, so that's what you can have control over, what you yourself create. So that's how we move on.
And how are you getting, besides coming on a show like this, you guys are on Twitter and Facebook and all that. What other things are you guys doing to make sure that everyone knows what Misdirected is? Besides having like a fantastic trailer and teaser clips and posters.
I think I'm serious about that bus ad.
I would not be opposed to that. No, I'd be a fan of that. I mean, really, it's just I think getting out there as many different ways as you can. I mean, I think that's the similar in terms of how you're going to pursue acting. I feel like a lot of times people become very disenchanted because they pursue it in one way.
Right.
Like they're only doing the sort of straightforward audition circuit and then that's it. Or they're only taking classes with this one person and that's it. And then if it doesn't work out from that one way you were trying, they panic or freak or, whatever. And I think being a content creator is great, but I think if you're only creating your own content and you're not actually out there auditioning for, television, film, commercials, then it's, you know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of do both. Like, if you're only creating your own content, then you're still kind of making it hard for yourself. You're working a lot, and you can feel really busy and happy. And I'm an actor because I'm actually doing stuff. But if it's only stuff that you and your friends are doing, then are you? You know what I mean? Because, like, are you going to be able to make a living that way? Because a big part of actors making a living is residuals. But we can only get residuals on, SAG-AFTRA projects that are at a certain budget level. So, like, if you're not part of that dance and you're not invited to that party, then like it's going to be real hard for you to make a living as an actor, And
that reminds me, so in talking about the unions, all right, are you guys both in SAG-AFTRA?
Yes.
Okay, one union. No, I don't know. We actually do have someone from SAG India that's been talking to us. Hopefully we'll get someone from there on the show and talk a little bit more. But how do you, even as content creators, but also that might star in their own stuff or whatever, how do you work around or work with the unions to kind of get that stuff produced?
It's the with part that you want to roll with there.
Yeah, you got to work with them.
Yeah.
You fill out the appropriate paperwork and make sure that it gets filed, even if there is more than you expect. You get it done.
How much of a hassle process is it to kind of, like say you're like, I'm going to start a production today. The actors I have in mind are SAG-AFTRA, and we are, it's going to be a union shoot. How do you, what?
It was pretty nice. I mean, when you fill out your little form to submit, they give you a representative, to contact should you have questions. And I did have questions, but they were available to me, which was really great. And I was able to do everything I needed to do. Yeah, I mean, it got a little tedious, but, it's checking the box and submitting every correct thing that you need to. I was the most surprised, though, when I found out that they don't actually contact you back when you're done with everything and you send it to them and you're expecting to hear back. Like, yes, everything's good. Confirmation.
Right.
They don't do that. They only do that if something is wrong with your paperwork.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I think I think especially because right now, especially with web series, their new media contract is great. You know what I mean? It's really designed for there's kind of new content out there that aren't just films and TV shows. People are making like Funny or Die videos or one-off little things or, and they have contracts that cover all of that. So you don't really need to work around them. You can really work with them and, our union's been very good to us, so there's no reason why, we would try and, skirt around it.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Now, what's the real answer? Turn the camera on. Cut the kittens. No kidding.
But that's the thing, too. I feel like that, there's a lot of, with other filmmakers, like there's projects that I have wanted to do with other filmmakers, but they're not union. And so, for me, it's like not, and they're like, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, I don't know how to answer that, because I feel like I don't want to say like, you're not worth it. You know what I mean? But it's like, but really, you know what I mean? Like,
no, totally.
That's a very tricky place to put an actor in. And I feel like every actor eventually, again, if you're going to make a real living at this, you have to join the union. That's going to happen inevitably. So it's like, I can't really like freebie it or, do you know what I mean? Or like kind of scoot around it. Like, it's not like I'm being difficult. It's just like, that's the way it is. Like, there are union rules and
you agree to, when you join up that you're going to abide by the rules of the...
At this point, I've worked with, I think Lauren and I have worked with so many filmmakers that have been able to do it just fine, and we have been able to do it like as producers on projects just fine. So like, there's really no excuse. You know what I mean? Like we were able to make this happen.
Yeah.
So like, especially if I can understand if it's like a film that you're trying to make at a certain budget level. Like then it gets really complicated with bonds and all that kind of stuff. And like I get that, but I feel like for things that are existing on the internet or short films or whatever, like you can make that work. Just work it out. Like it can happen.
Is there a plan for Misdirected later on to take like these episodes, throw them all together into one long episode, or
like a pilot?
A pilot?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, we've talked
Is that what
about
they
it.
call that?
That's what they call it. A pilot. That's the industry term, Nick. Is pilot.
Never would have guessed.
Certainly watch it like that.
Yeah.
We thought there's certain festivals that they don't really do like web series properly, but they'll take your pilot.
Right.
So a lot of web series creators have strung together their episodes to make a pilot before. Yeah. So we've talked about doing it. And we might. We'll see. We'll just kind of see how we'll play out the first 9 episodes and see how they do.
Yeah, well, let's assume they do well. You guys, you think you're already having ideas for a season 2? Are you...
Well, I know that the cast and crew would love one, because as soon as we wrapped that day, almost 1 year ago, when are we going to come back? See you season 2. We all had such a great time. I mean, people say that, but it was really the best time I've ever had on set. Yeah. It was a great group of people. We all really gelled. There were no lines between us. Everyone just kind of sat at the same table and told the same jokes, and it was great.
Are we going to assume that's also because it was a female-led production, both behind the camera and in front of the camera?
Probably.
Is that what
Because
made it
we
awesome?
keep yeah, we're pretty awesome.
I mean, I'm not going to dispute that we're not awesome, but I don't know if we're awesome because we're girls, or
But-
we're awesome because we're girls.
I mean, part of what makes us awesome. I developed a list.
You guys are super
we're
awesome.
Strong, independent women that we get things done, but we don't need to be a-holes, cracking the whip or anything.
We weren't a-holes, I'll say that. We were not. No, we would love to do a season 2, honestly. It was it was a lot of fun, but I think we're going to kind of wait to see how season 1 plays out and see kind of what the interest is, because hopefully, if the audience doesn't enjoy it as much as we enjoyed making it,
what's the
then
point?
it's kind of pointless. Then we're just amusing ourselves. I'm really curious to see what the feedback's like for season 1.
Cool. Let's tell them again real quick as we wrap up. I'm just going to double check real quick and make sure we have no more questions.
Okay.
But I also want to ask you guys about the release schedule. So you're going to release on Monday the first 3 episodes.
Yes.
Where is it going to go after that?
You'll be able to see it on MisDirectedShow.com as well as on Blip TV. And we have a schedule then. First 3 episodes, Monday, May 20th, and then every Monday after that, Misdirected Monday. Look forward to it.
Mondays.
Yeah.
Directed Mondays.
Yeah.
I'm
Should we
excited.
talk about the magnets?
You got to think. What?
Do you want to possibly, or do you want to say that?
Well, if you liked that earlier image we showed you of the homage to Lost, we do have some magnets that we have
Yes, please.
created. So yeah, we're gonna do some giveaways, fun things like that for people who watch the episodes, and we'll have some fun interaction that way.
Oh, fun times.
Give away prizes. Everyone likes prizes.
Everyone's like, right. I'm
Free
giving
stuff.
Free stuff.
Oh yeah, you got to Oprah that shit up. That's what it is. That's what I say. You get a car and you get a car. You guys don't get cars, but you get into film
magnet.
festival.
You get a magnet. You get a magnet.
Exactly. That's how you got to play it. So make sure that you guys watch Misdirected on Mondays. So Misdirected Mondays over at misdirectedshow.com.
That is correct.
And you can also make sure you follow the show on Twitter and on Facebook. So it's twitter.com/misdirectedshow.
Show Misdirected.
Show Misdirected.
Yeah, someone else has Misdirected Show apparently.
I will beat them. I will beat them within an inch of their puny, miserable lives. Assholes. And then we are on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/
Misdirected Show.
Misdirected Show. Okay, so the only one that's different is Show Misdirected is Twitter.
It's Twitter.
Yes.
It's Twitter.
Yeah.
I blame you, whoever you are.
I know.
They didn't
Misdirected
respond
Show.
when I tried to get a hold of them and be like, can you release this? You don't tweet. Can I have your handle?
That's like the same thing with my Twitter handle. Like someone has Marion Kerr, but then they got it suspended somehow. So I was contacting them. Was like, can I please have this Twitter handle? You son of a! I knew it. But then I never got any response. So I had to add my middle initial in, and people always forget it. So I miss a lot
Ruth.
of tweets. Yeah. No, it's just R.
You know,
But not on Twitter. It's just R.
I might have actually forgotten that on yours. On
happens
the,
to me all the time.
Yeah, did I? I totally forgot it on the lower
At
thirds.
Marion R. Kerr.
Marion R. Kerr. Sorry.
I sent you the correct ones. I don't know
What do you think?
how you failed on that.
Because I fail at life. That's why. Do you think I read the emails that people send me? Come on, I have like 20,000
Apparently not.
emails in
I
my
don't even know who
bed.
you two are. All right, you just showed up.
You showed up. I was like, look, I just need meat puppets on the couch. Okay, just throw them down and.
Meat puppets? That's disgusting.
That's when we drop the mic and we just leave. Like, forget it. Wow, I'm done.
Please don't go. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't mean to do it. Take me back. Take me back. I'll be good. Last time. Want some cake?
You watch your mouth, Nic Baisley. You watch your mouth.
We just schooled you.
I did. I get schooled, and I probably would have spelled it wrong. So that's at twitter.com/Lauren Mora and twitter.com/
Marion
R. Kerr. Because I fail.
It's all right.
All right. And they're on Facebook and Twitter, and they're on all over the place.
Yeah.
So you get them on Facebook
Starting
and
on
stuff
Mondays, we'll be there even more.
They'll be there
So,
even more.
Yeah.
So we had I think I've already decided who I want to give a prize to, only because John won last week.
Oh.
So
Oh,
so we can't give it to
we
him.
can't give it to John. 'Cause
Okay.
John won a signed poster last week.
Hey.
So
John.
good for him. So we have all have a filmmaker friend in not in mind, but in common. Thank you. Yeah, I host a show. I did that once. So, and we all want to see everyone that we work with become better filmmakers. So I think that we should give Gary King this book on genre filmmaking. Because, because not for nothing, I've seen Death of the Dead, and so I got this book for you on genre filmmaking. No, I'm kidding, Gary. Actually, it'd probably be, what was the first movie he made? Oh, crud.
New York something?
No. He made something else that was for hire. That wasn't New York Lately. New York Lately says, and I like New York Lately. That was the second movie I ever reviewed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I
years
haven't seen
ago.
That one. I've seen What's Up Lovely.
What's Up Lovely? Yep. Yeah. He did another movie in between there somewhere, and it was like a for hire gig, not his film, directed or written, or he directed but not written. And he doesn't like that one too much.
Oh, so we're just talking about it a lot right now.
Yeah, we're totally. I didn't name the title, but I mean, IMDb is out there. No, kidding. But no, I'm just joking.
Like, shut up.
I love me some Gary. I just got to see him while he was here. I was very happy to see him for How Do You Write a Joe Sherman Song.
Nice.
Yes, he was here for the screening. It was nice. So Gary, congratulations. You won a book on genre filmmaking by Danny Draven, courtesy of our friends and folks over at Focal Press.
Yay.
Yay, Focal. So
What's up next?
what's up next? What's up next with you guys? You're leaving here and you're going to leave me all alone.
We are, yeah.
And then you're going to go
We got a
release this
show to
misdirected.
launch.
We do.
You got a
I'm
show.
going to try and figure out what meat puppets means, I think, probably.
Urban Dictionary.
Okay,
It's probably
cool.
going to be a better place to
Should
go.
I not, or should I? No. Okay. All right, cool. Gary's like, don't
Don't even click on the images tab.
No.
No, yeah. I mean, we're at this point, like we've been working on this thing for like about a year, and it's starting on Monday, and it's going to go for a few weeks. So we're kind of like chips all in with this.
That's
Yep.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it'll be vacation time.
And then it'll be vacation time.
Vacation time?
Yeah.
I love vacation time. What's a vacation? I'm not familiar with that word. But I want to thank you two for both coming on. A, for short notice, and B, for being awesome. And because I've known you two now online. We knew each other for a while, and then I finally got to meet you guys when I moved out here, and I was excited about that. And I've always liked and respected the work that both of you do.
Thank you.
So, so now's the time when Nick gets serious.
Aw, I like Serious Nick.
Serious Nick?
I'm a fan of Serious Nick.
Shit.
No, it's good.
He doesn't come up very often.
really? Okay.
No.
And you didn't even have any alcohol.
That you know of.
Rude.
But I want. I love you guys. Just listen to me. Listen to me.
Serious Nick, come back. Come back, Serious Nick. Come back. Okay.
So. So again, I want to thank you guys for coming. I want to say to everyone, definitely watch Misdirected. We're going to show you the trailer for Misdirected.
Yay!
Like if that little clip, that little teaser clip, exclusive teaser clip, didn't get your attention enough, now you're going to watch the full minute and a half-ish trailer for Misdirected, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed I'm looking forward to. I have access to the episodes because I'm the film snob. So I am going to watch those when I actually have 5 minutes to myself. So I'm looking forward to doing
5 minutes. It's more like 25.
25.
5 minutes is like 2 episodes for us, though, because we have them short and sweet. So yeah.
So I might be able to watch the entire series all at once, but you guys can again check it out on Monday. First 3 episodes over at misdirectedshow.com
right.
and also on Blip TV.
Yep.
Blip.tv/misdirected.
Yep.
So check it out, and we will be right back over there where the desk is in a moment, because we have other things we want to share with you, or I want to share with you. These guys will either sit here and they'll skedaddle. But I want to thank you guys for coming in. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Be right back. Hey everyone, we're back, and that was a fantastic interview. I actually have been looking forward to interviewing both Lauren and Marion for a very, very long time, probably the past 3 years at least. And so to get them both on the show at once, talking about a project they're both involved in, was just obviously a dream come true. So we have a little bit more show for you though. So here's the deal. So we have sponsors. I love my sponsors because they allow me to continue doing this. Sometimes it's just by giving us things to give to you. Sometimes it's for giving us space to shoot in. So first one I want to talk about is Sony Vegas. Sony Vegas Pro 12 is the editing software that I edit on when I go out and do interviews at film festivals. When I do this show, actually, the archive is edited on Sony Vegas Pro 12, much to the chagrin of the post house that I'm actually shooting this in, because they do Final Cut and Avid. And they're like, you must come to the dark side. And I'm like, I love Sony. I'm sorry. It's the easiest one to work with. I watch these guys work on Final Cut and Avid, and I'm like, you guys are doing some kind of weird sorcery here, because I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Like, it just seems like everything you do in those seems overly complicated and weird. With Sony, though, they make it really easy. It's what I learned on, and I would know, by no stretch of the imagination, call myself an editor, but I can cut damn well. So definitely check out Sony Vegas Pro 12. I believe it's Sony Digital Software, SonyCreativeDigital.com, something like that, or SonyCreativeSoftware.com. It's one of those. You'll find it. Just Google Sony Vegas Pro 12. There will be the first one up there. But they've been fantastic. They were our first sponsor back in 2009, and they before we even had a show. And they have been so fantastic to us, letting us give away free software and sponsoring events and stuff like that we do. So I just definitely want to give them a quick plug and shout out. Then we also have our good friends here at Focal Press, which we just gave away a book for. So congratulations to Gary King for getting your book on genre filmmaking. You'll have to definitely go ahead and give us your address offline. I don't think I have your address. I have your phone number, but I don't have your address. So yeah, Genre Filmmaking by Danny Draven is what we just gave away, along with tons of other books that they have over at Focal Press. I have several friends who actually have had books published by Focal, real experts in the industry, topics ranging all the way from distribution to post-production, production, pre-production. I mean, just pretty much everything. Producing, directing, even acting, I believe. They've got tons of stuff. Also check out, they have some other sites that they actually have as well, that there's things happening. They have some other sites as well that are associated with masteringfilm.com, which is what I used to actually write some articles for. Also filmskills.com, where they have video tutorials on how to do some really cool stuff in a lot of different areas in filmmaking. So definitely check out everything that Focal's got going on, because they are pretty much the premier book publisher for the film and entertainment industry. So definitely check them out. Also, I want to talk about our friends here at Hot Pixel. So, we are in the color timing bay at Hot Pixel Post Production here in Universal City. If you're an independent filmmaker and you need post sound editing, 5.1 mix, if you need post color, pretty much any post production service you can think of, you come to Hot Pixel. Why? Not just because I'm here working with them, but because they're the best. It's just flat out. That's just how it is. So we're going to go ahead. We are going to, before we wrap up for the night, I just want to show you guys a quick little kind of teaser of what Hot Pixel does, and then we'll give you a heads up on where we're going to be and what we're doing in the next couple of weeks. So stick around, and we'll be right back. We're all laughing about me being able to keep it brief. So I'm going to keep it brief. So where are we in the next couple of weeks? We're going to be over at the Dances with Films film festival over here in Hollywood. We're going to be covering, we've got our press credentials, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to be covering all the films there. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Down and Dangerous by Zach Forsman. I'm going to also look forward to see Favor by our good friends Paul Osborne. it's awesome, and it's good stuff. So great festival as well. I went there last year. It was actually just after I moved here. Marion was in a movie, and Lauren was in a movie called Far that was there. It was the one we mentioned, is now in the First Glance Film Festival. So yay for friends getting out and about. So that said, so we're going to be there for about a week. I think it's an 11-day festival starting May 30th, I think is the red carpet night. So, and count that out 11 days after that. That's just how that works. That's math, people. So you can definitely see us there. We're going to be tweeting, Facebooking, all that. You'll see some interviews. You'll see some reviews from the movies that are going to be there as well over at FilmSnobbery.com. You can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FilmSnobbery, and definitely check out our updates, because we are going to be doing more things over at Facebook.com/FilmSnobbery. So make sure that you like our page over there, because if you don't, then you're going to miss out on more contests and more giveaways and more cool stuff that we're posting there all the time. I want to say again, thanks to all of our awesome writers who have been just plugging away on content for us recently. It's really nice to finally have a group of people who are just really passionate about independent film and getting everything out there. So there's that. I want to thank everyone who showed up for the show tonight. I apologize if our feed has gone down a couple of times, but we're here. And that's it. It's going to be awesome. We're here next week also with Zach Forsman. I promise this time, because I got that wrong last week. So Zach is going to be here. He's going to talk about his new movie Down and Dangerous, which is also going to have its LA premiere over at the Dances with Films Festival. Also, we should have an interview with one of the directors of the Dances with Film Festival next week as well. I think we're shooting that on Tuesday morning, so you should see a clip of it, if not the whole thing, on Thursday night when the show's on. So stick around and watch our show every Thursday, 7 p.m. PST over at FilmSnobberyLive.com. I don't believe, because of the red carpet for Dances with Films on May 30th, I don't believe we will be doing a show that night, because I'll be attending that. But we will be back the next week to make sure that we make up for that slight to you guys. But that's really all we got. Is that succinct enough, everyone? Yay! People! This is why I moved here, to have people here. Amy doesn't like it. She thought the show was shit. But you know what? I don't do it for her. I do it for you guys. So thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week. We'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Thank you.